皆さん、また来てくださってありがとうございます。こちらはマンハッタンニューヨーク月曜日の午後です。ということでね、今日は月曜日なので、先週の土曜日のトランプさんのフロリダでのラリーの、演説を乗っけたいと思います。前回の演説とちょびっとだけ頭のとこが重複することがあると思うんですけど、あとはね、なんか結構面白いんですよ。なので、ぜひちょっと長めなんですけど、見てください。どうぞ。
On day one, I will restore the Trump travel ban on entering from having people that like to blow up our shopping centers and kill our people and do lots of bad things. Entry from terror-plagued countries. We will not allow people to come in, and we will implement strong ideological screening for all immigrants. We did that, and it was unbelievably successful. And we had no problem during that 4-year period because they knew they cannot mess around. We had it tight. If you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you sympathize with jihadists, and then you don't want your country to do well, you don't want your country to be successful, you're just not going to get in, you're not getting in, you're not coming into our country. On every policy, from the border to energy, from immigration to education, crooked Joe Biden always takes the side that helps America's enemies every time. The guy doesn't have a clue. He helps the enemies, and now we know why. Because Joe Biden is corrupt, and he's incompetent, and he's totally compromised. They are bribing our president. They're bribing our president. And you see this. This week, the House Republicans published explosive evidence. And I'll tell you, they've done a great job. They've really done a fantastic job. They really have. Amazing. Very explosive evidence proving once and for all that Crooked Joe received $40,000 in cash and $200,000. Every day you see it's a different check. But $40,000 in cash laundered out of China, and the real number, and when the final results are in, you're going to see millions and millions of dollars. Remember during the debate, Chris Wallace, how's he doing, by the way? Chris Wallace was there. And I said, why are you getting $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? And Biden couldn't answer the question, but Chris Wallace came in and helped him. You're not allowed to ask that question. Why not? 2 years later, that became a big subject. Why did they get $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife? It's a horrible thing. We brought it up, and he wouldn't let it be. I said, who am I debating here? Am I debating two people or one person? But I've had that every single debate just about, right? The laptop from hell said Joe is getting 10%, and now we have the cold hard proof that Crooked Joe got exactly 10% of a very big payment from China. He got the money, got it in his account. That's what, could you imagine if I got it? I would, man. They say, we are thinking about reinstituting the death penalty. That's why the number one phrase out there right now, if you look at it, the number one phrase, and I'm greatly honored by, but they have hats and everything all over the place, not sold by us, although we may start it. Why not? Trump was right about everything. We've been right about everything. And 3 years ago in that same debate, Crooked Joe stood on the debate stage and said, I quote, I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever in my life. I mean, that's one of the greatest lies in history, right? And he said no one in his family had ever taken or made any money from China. Now we have pictures of the checks deposited directly into his account. If Joe Biden was not guilty, and everybody knows he was, he just lies. There's never been anybody that lied. Listen, the other day they were talking about truckers. He said he was a trucker. Then they were talking about airline pilots. He said he was an airline pilot. No, he said he was an airline pilot. Then they were talking about tractor operators. He said, when I operated a tractor, he never operated a tractor. But probably his biggest sin of all, to all of those that like sports and love golf and everything, he said he was a 6 handicap golfer. Now, I have to tell you, you don't know many of you about golf, but six handicap's a pretty good golfer. You know, they're percentage-wise not many. And I watched him take a swing. He's not a 6. He's not a 12. He's not a 25, and he's not a 36. You know, 36 is the max. Everything's a lie. The whole thing is a lie. The whole election was a lie. As president, I will be creating a truth and reconciliation commission to shed sunlight on every dark and rotten corner of Washington, D.C., starting with Biden. And you got to understand, we were doing a job. I got rid of Comey. I got rid of the FBI top guys. I got rid of them all. Boy, oh boy. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't be standing here talking to you, because that was a bad thing they were planning. And last week he said it was one of the greatest political instinct moves that he's ever seen, firing Comey, because there were bad things planned. If I won, they're going to get me out of office. These people are corrupt people. Got rid of everyone, got rid of all of these people. And then we had the COVID, we had to take care of it. We had a lot of things happen. We had a lot of amazing successes. We did a great job in COVID. We never got the credit for the job we did. We let Republican governors keep their states open. Crooked Joe puts China first, Russia first, Venezuela first, Ukraine first, illegal aliens first, environmental lunatics first, everyone else first. He puts them ahead of our country. But he puts America last. He puts our workers last. He puts our industries last. He puts your families last. He puts everything that's good last. That's what happens. I put America first every single time. And our country is under the highest level of threat. You saw that the other day. The DOJ and FBI is, let's go after Trump and his family. Let's go after Trump. It's pretty sad, but it's no wonder that crooked Joe Biden and the far-left lunatics are desperate to stop us by weaponizing law enforcement, which we can't allow. But it does mean that the next president is able to say to the Attorney General, you know what, there's somebody running over there, and he happens to be a Democrat. He's doing very well, and he's killing me in the polls. Indict him! Because that's what they did. This has never happened in our country. It happens in third world countries. Never happened in our country before. It's really high-level election interference, and the congressmen and all of the people that we introduced today are doing a lot of things about it. People are very concerned about it because it really brings us into a very low level as a country. But think of it. 3 years ago, we were energy independent. We had gasoline selling for $1.87 a gallon. And now they want to go to all electric cars. You know what that means? That means that all of our auto workers are going to be out of a job. They're going to be out of a job. They're doing a contract now. I was with them in Michigan recently. I said, you know, the electric cars are all going to be made in China and some other countries, but mostly in China. Because we don't have what you need to do an electric car, but we have the greatest stuff in the world for doing combustion engine cars. You know what it's called? Liquid gold. It's right under our feet. We have more than any other country. And these people want to go all electric. And I said it sounds sort of simplistic, but it's really good. The cars don't go far. You know, wouldn't you like them more complicated? They have a very simple problem. They don't go far, number one. If you want to go to the local deli, I think an electric car is a fantastic thing to have, right? The greatest feeling for a person that gets a brand new, is the first 10 minutes of a charge. After that, they're a basket case trying to figure out where the hell they're going to get a charge. But you know, how about this mandate? All cars will be very shortly electric. And you know, they subsidize all the car companies. That's why the car companies are doing it. If they didn't subsidize it, then because they lose a fortune every time they make a car. Just like on the windmills. They subsidize every windmill. They subsidize it. And the windmills now are all breaking down. Do you see what's going on? First time I've seen it. I've been preaching against these things. They're horrible for the environment. They kill all our birds. They're destroying our seas. The whales are, you know, we had one whale in 10 years get washed up shore in New Jersey. Now they're coming up every week. They're being destroyed because of the sound and the vibration. It's so bad. And the subsidy is massive. But with the electric cars, so they want to go all electric. And the problem is really very expensive. They don't go far. But worse, they want to go to all electric trucks. And I have friends in the trucking industry. In fact, I think they're going to probably support me because these guys are going to put them out of business. You talk about a supply chain. The supply chain is going to be a disaster. So if you buy a great truck today, great truck with diesel, they have these massive tanks, but not that big compared to a battery. The battery would take up most of the truck. And they can do, like a Peterbilt, they can go 2,000 miles on a nice large tank of diesel fuel, right? 2,000, remember that. An electric truck can only go 300 miles. That means you have to get it charged 7 times, and it takes long to charge. You know, it doesn't go quickly. It takes a long time, and yet they want to go to all electric trucks. Plus, there's a difference in power, and there's a difference in torque. It doesn't work. And one of the trucking companies said, you know, sir, for 50 years, he's one of the biggest guys, great guy. He said, for 50 years, I buy trucks. And every time I buy a truck, every year they get better and stronger, and everything is better, just better. Incredible what they've done. If they go to electric trucks, they will have set us back 60 years because they don't work. The other problem they have is the battery is so big that it would take up most of the storage capacity. You know those big, beautiful trucks? That sucker's going to be loaded up with a battery because you can't make a little battery. It's got to be a big battery. They just don't go far enough, and they don't work. And nothing you can do can stop it. I was in South Carolina. I met with a boat company. They're a great boat company, really make a lot of boats. He said, we have a problem. They want us to only go 2 miles an hour. I said, how long? Out to 90 miles. How far do the boats go? They never go beyond 60. Okay, this is not good. So the boats are, meant for speed, and they're not allowed to go fast. That was one thing. The other thing is, sir, they're going to want us to go all battery. And I asked him, I said, let me ask you a question. And he said, nobody's ever asked me this question. He said, if a boat goes in, because the batteries, he told me, are so heavy, he doesn't even know if the boats will float. And they take a lot of room, like the entire boat. Instead of a nice Mercury engine with a tank of gas, right? Those beautiful Mercury engines made in America, those beautiful Mercuries, they want to put them out of business. So I said, if you have a boat, and because of the fact that your battery is very heavy and big, let's say it sinks. What happens to you if you're sitting on top of a boat and it sinks and the whole boat is a battery? Do you get electrocuted? And what would happen? If you look over there and you see a shark about 10 yards away, would you go for the electrocution or would you go into the shark? And I told him, but I know what I do. I will take electrocution every single day. No, but they want to change it. The other thing they want to change is our Army tanks. We make the best Army tanks in the world. But now they want to make all electric Army tanks. And the purpose is, so we have this great tank and it goes in and it's blasting the hell out of a country. But it's doing it in an environmentally friendly way. These people are crazy. And they do have a problem with the size of the battery that you need to have it operate, because the Army tank would take a slightly different look. You'd have the tank the way it is, and behind it you'd have this massive truck which would be pulled by the tank. They want to do it environmentally friendly. Airplanes too, they have a new fuel that the plane will be 15% less effective, but it will be environmentally friendly. It's the difference between losing those fights and winning these fights. These people are crazy, and they don't do anything about it. Now, the truck thing is so obvious, but they won't do anything about it. They never will. They want everything to be electric. And remember, what makes the electric is oil and gas and coal. You know that, right? Oil and gas and coal. That's what generates everything to make the electric. I'm telling you that people, there's something wrong with them. And everybody in this room, when I explained the trucking and the supply chain, and you can only go 300 miles versus 2,000 miles, there's not a person in this room that doesn't understand that. We don't have to meet for hours. I can tell you that story, and then you can just say, okay, we can't do it. That's it. We go, right? These people don't care. They say, we don't care. We're doing it anyway. We don't care. I'm telling you, there's something wrong with them. They don't care. So what we have is more than a campaign, it's a movement. It's the greatest movement in history because, never been a movement like it. It's our final battle. We're either going to have a country greater than ever before, or we're not going to have a country at all. It's our final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government, and we will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will evict Joe Biden from the White House, and we will finish the job that we so brilliantly started. It was doing so beautifully. The great silent majority is rising like never before, and under our leadership, we're doing it together. The forgotten man and woman will not be forgotten any longer. They will not be forgotten any longer. They've been forgotten. They weren't forgotten for 4 years. They will not be forgotten any longer. With your help, your love, and your vote, we will put America first, and we will make America great again, greater than ever before. Thank you, Florida. We love you, Florida. God bless you all. God bless you. Thank you.